I would say my body and my values, my body and my commitment to certain values. Hi, my name is Michael Turinsky. I'm a choreographer and performer from Vienna, Austria. I think it always begins with a kind of urgency that meets with an objective social urgency. I always look out for this encounter between the subjective personal urgency and the political or social urgency that I perceive in my social and political environment. And when these two urgencies come together, then that's usually the initiation of a new work. I have experience and expectation to make message-driven work, partially because I'm disabled and people expect me to have a message, kind of. But on the other hand, I also always try to make a political impact with my work. So it's a matter of, on the one hand, internal motivation to make a political impact. On the other hand, external expectation. Grip for me basically means a position of resistance. Resistance against what some theories call compulsory able-bodiedness. So it's a matter of giving space to the inherent resistance of the body against certain norms of embodiment. And choreography for me has a lot to do with the organization of movement. So when I put those two together, I would say that grip choreography for me means engaging the resistance of the body in a process of subverting, deconstructing, and reconstructing dominant forms of movement. That's very technical now. But that's what it is. What it means for me, basically, it means not trying to fit in, not trying to conform to standard aesthetics, but aiming at developing my own standards of quality, my own standards of excellence, my own standards of aesthetic, in the way that also artistic expression, but even artistic expression is governed by certain norms. That the norm of the vertical body, for example, or the fast-moving body, or the fluently moving body. And I think that disabled bodies has the potential to radically undo the vertical body, undo the fast-moving body, undo our fetishization of flow, you know. That's the one thing. And the other thing I think is that as disabled people, we have a unique perspective on this world. We feel, we perceive, we hear, we see the world from a slightly different angle. And I think our view of the world is more complete when we include the unique perspective of disabled people and this unique perspective on our shared world is what disabled artists actually can express what nobody else can, because they have not the same perspective on this world, you know. And I think that's what they do also. But I think I want them to perceive it as a political aesthetics experience. So for me the entanglement of politics and aesthetics is always a primary concern. I make sure that theory never takes over emotion. I always try to keep it balanced, really. Not only are we all equal as people, but I also strongly believe in the equality of thinking, feeling, sensing. They are all equal human faculties. For me, the last solo is called Work Body. I think I really succeeded there to find a way of reflecting working class sensibility in its resonance with disabled sensibility in a way that is, I think the way I succeeded to articulate its sensibility. I like how I did that because I actually tried to keep it kind of simple in terms of verbal articulation and trusted a more poetic reflection. You know, I think that the role of art is not to impart a clear message, but the role of art is to make people engage with the topic with their full personality. Art is an invitation to the audience to think, to feel, and to sense on their own and make sense for their own. Of course, we need to acknowledge that even the opportunity for slowness and rest, although this opportunity is not equally distributed in our society. Some people can rest a lot, and some people cannot rest at all, and some people need to hurry all the time, and some people don't need to hurry. So we have to acknowledge that sometimes our society as a whole and everyone we need to find ways to move beyond this endless growing of productivity and endless for reasons of climate justice and so on, but also for ourselves. We need to find ways to move beyond this hyper-productive, hyper-fast, difficult, because we are all attached to certain ways of living, and I think it's definitely time, at least for us, to slow down and to find more sustainable ways of living, basically.